Now, Wallace Lee wrote this amazing prequel novella titled Rambo Year One. I just had to cover it. As you know, we love to read things every season. We did Morel's 72 novel. Tonight we wanted to do the Raven comic and this book. However, we couldn't find Raven. When we come back for season 2, we're going to do Cameron's The Mission, James Cameron's The Mission, and David Morrell's novelization for First Blood Part 2. In the future, we're going to give you Rambo 3, the novelization by David Morrell, and Walter Byron Huggins' Hunter, otherwise known as The Savage Hunt, which was supposed to be kind of a treatment for Rambo 5, sci-fi at its best. So now we're going to take a look at Wallace's ebook. It's about 100 pages. I wasn't able to get the 100-page version. Like I was saying before, the full version's in Italian and should be making its way to the English side of things sometime in the near future. The first 2 chapters, however, with the English translation are up on his YouTube site and some various other points around the net. So we'll put the address to where you can see that on the screen, and we'll put the the links down in the description below. So check them out, because they're pretty awesome, and a lot of love and a lot of care went into this. It's just phenomenal to see this side of idealism on the Rambo franchise. It's just brilliant on the behalf of Wallace Lee. So, with that being said, here's one I've been waiting to do for a while. I've been in contact with Wallace Lee, very young and upcoming writer, very talented prodigal son indeed, and he should be making his RAMBOMANIA debut appearance soon. Now this was going to be a long-ass episode, but I'm going to wait for Wallace, much because his book is mainly in Italian. Like I said before, there's a few chapters in English, one introducing us to Delmore Berry, and one introducing us to Rambo, with a little bit of Manuel Ortega in there, and there's some reference to Troutman, as well as a really badass villain named Apache, and some comrades like Morris and I can't remember the other guy's name, but they're in part 2. So it's, like I said, it's just brilliant work on behalf of protege Wallace Lee. He really dug up a lot of information to go into this with a very professional touch. Even like the English translation is really good. Like this guy is a writer to look out for, because this guy really delves into the psychological mindscape of things and really gives you a taste of the horrors of Vietnam. So we start off in 1981 with John Jay coming to find Delmore Berry from the First Blood movie with a little catch-up piece, on who Berry is. I won't give it all away because I really do want you to go out and read this for yourself. I'll put a link down there in the description. Also, because I wanted to do the whole book. And, aside from like the really cool trailer to promote everything, it's done with real Vietnam footage. It's pretty scary to look at, that side of mankind. So we've only got 2 chapters on this site, but what chapters they are indeed. Phenomenal. If you're Italian, you can read Italian. There is also, chapters on Manuel Ortega and Colonel Troutman, with soundtrack, and I just love the video book format of this. It's just wonderful. It's just great. So we travel back in time to 1966. Delmore, stationed, I believe, on the border outskirts of Vietnam, deep in a foxhole with other team members, and he even talks about the differences between the jungle warfare fighting styles of past wars. we get some history on him as well as like the people he's with, and it's definitely a point in time that changes Delmore's life forever. There's a member of his team, like a younger kid, who's being tortured for hours, and it's really you really feel how hard it is to get through that scene. You know, in the end, actually, he's castrated. It's a horrific scene that just drags you in completely. You know, Delmore wants nothing more to investigate and free the lad from the evil villain named Apache. I can't help but wonder what other fabulous villains lay ahead in the world of Wallace Lee's Rambo. Because he writes them with great concern. And, you know, so Barry wants to free the kid, but he knows anyone who goes over is automatically pronounced MIA or missing in action. Because it is a trap. You know, it is a trap. Much like they were talking about sniper traps, where, you know, they would snipe off some person in the leg to bring out other members of his team to come and get him, and then snipe out everybody else. You know, kind of like Full Metal Jacket in a way. Yeah, so missing in action if anyone goes over that border, that fine line, and it's really hard, and you really get the like symbolism that it's really hard for Delmore. You know, and he makes a lot of conscious decisions, and his life is definitely, you know, divided into two parts. You know, before that night and after that night from time on. Because they're not supposed to be there, you know. Anyway, awesome chapter. That long-ass castration scene will keep you up at night. Just riveting and haunting all the way. Well done, Wallace. Now, further along, episode 2, or chapter 2, which is over twice as long, we get some shots of weaponry and vehicles, and we're treated to John Rambo and Manuel Ortega's first meeting of sorts. You know, both kind of size each other up. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. They begin trading war stories over beers, and Ortega's story is very brief, but Rambo's is more the meat of the scene, with his team coming under ferocious mortar attack. Almost everything is decimated in it. There's a little talk about Troutman. Wallace researched Vietnam for years while writing this, and it really shows, you know, right down to how the action takes place. It's really informal and smart. It's well thought out, you know. And I really, really, really just wish I had the rest of this book to read. You know, hopefully soon. Maybe he'll submit it to us. Maybe. So, a lot of Rambo's story is detail-driven, you know, explaining the moves of war, like a chess, kind of, in a way, without, you know, it's almost like outthinking one's opponent. A lot of it is like target practice with Rambo, you know, blasting away at the enemy. Once he really comes to that call of action, he's kind of reluctant at first. He's kind of scared because he's very young in this. So it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like Armageddon is happening. And it really is confusing, everything going on. And it's really a hellish scenario. Really hellish indeed. Like the Viet Cong are coming out everywhere, you know, even down to killing themselves. It's really, really, really surprising. Really, really well detailed how Wallace, you know, actually went in and really researched everything for this. So yeah, a lot of Rambo's story is detail driven, you know, explaining the moves of war, like chess in a way, outthinking the other opponent, and a lot of it's like target practice with Rambo, you know, blasting the enemy with that M60 alongside Morris, another character, with his M16. And you know, there's like Cobra chopper attacks, infantry and all. It's just like they just keep coming and coming for hours, man. They're just like bam, 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 like blasting the fuck out of everything. It's very reminiscent of the 50 caliber attack scene at the end of Rambo 4 or Rambo 2008. You know, Rambo's even almost blind in one eye by the end because he's just, you know, like shooting, keeping his eye on the enemy. All the dirt and dust and everything from the Cobra attacks. You know, everything's getting blasted to splinters. So he took a lot of damage to the eye from aiming and trying to keep on aim while dust and stuff was going on in his eyes. His hands are all like taken out by powder burns, like powder burns all over his Rambo's hand from handling that M60 over and over and over and over and over. You know, getting that barrel white hot, blasting the shit out of everybody. So, you know, we can see a lot of PTSD here, you know, in Manuel and especially the 20-year-old Rambo. And I love the mix of Brian Tyler and Jerry Goldsmith in these videos, add such great dimension and great contrast. And, you know, so Manuel and Rambo are enlisting in the SOG, the Green Beret unit. We get this awesome 1967 quote from Rambo saying, "In war, there are two types of people, those who know what the moves are and those who don't." And Wallace, I want to see more, some more moves, you know, man. Like, I can't wait to sit down and talk with you. We get some awesome Stones to Take Us Out. Their great song, "Gimme Shelter." And even like the end of the story, like the aftermath of both stories really symbolizes on the ghosts of war and really symbolizes on that nobody wins at war. Each story has a really big closing theme of loss. And, you know, that whole I gotta win a war that someone else lost mentality, a lot of that really plays into it. It's very witty and very awesomely written. The opening chapter, you know, featuring Delmore Berry really plays out on that too. In our next video, we're going to be talking about Delmore Berry again. So, next up on RAMBOMANIA, we have the Michael Chapman extended special, you know, for Easter. And we're going to finish off the pre-show with the Reef prequel, courtesy of Rambo the video game, out now in select stores. So this is maybe the closest thing to an official Rambo prequel we're ever going to see, or see for a while at least. So don't touch that dial. I'm going to leave you with the website for Wallace Lee on the screen, and we'll be right back right after this.